This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
I'm genuinely unclear.
Well, let's get back to it.
This says, these are texts and tweets and emails from last night. This says the Trust will get £115,000 for every year for the rest of her life for doing 6 weeks in number 10. Will the blob get double that if he manages to get through that door again? Good thinking, Hannah. I wouldn't be remotely surprised. Would you, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
This says that there will never be a people's revolution in this country. In Europe, when they've had enough, they rise up and take to the streets. Here, we rise up and take to the pub.
Booze.
And this says it's like a well-known, long-running soap opera where they run out of ideas and storylines, so they bring back Grant Mitchell. You're at Grant Mitchell, Bodge.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I have no idea who Grant Mitchell is. This is a front page of the... Well, it's not the front page of the Mail. It's the top of the story on the Mail Online. Boris hits the phones with a picture of him looking through squinted eyes as though he's trying to shrug off a hangover. And I bet he probably is. Did you see it? It's comical pictures of him pretending to work. Boris Johnson gives the thumbs up as his camp claimed that he has passed the crucial threshold of 100 MPs backing him to return to number 10, as ultra-loyalist fan Nadine Dorries giddily announces the boss is back. Giddily? Is that a euphemism?
Booze.
Giddily. Oh, he's back. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson landed at Gatwick Airport after returning from his Caribbean holiday. He had to take a holiday to get over the first holiday that he took after getting sacked as Prime Minister, which was so exhausting that he needed to take a pre-holiday holiday to get over it. It's all work with him, eh?
No.
He's said to have gathered more than 100 backers.
Liar!
Really? Name them. I double dare you. Official figures from Conservative Home say 54. What do you say, Zaphod?
And one.
More.
Two.
Probably more than that.
6 million.
Slightly less than 6 million. 54, say Conservative Home. That is 54 deluded cultists who would drink the Kool-Aid if it came gushing out of his rear.
Disgusting.
Senior Tories are urging former PM Boris Johnson to meet his estranged Chancellor. I'm not sure that should actually just be strange. I'll reread it. Senior Tories are urging former PM Boris Johnson to meet his strange Chancellor Rishi Sunak in person. What do you say, Fishy?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, yeah. Senior Tories, that is. Senior Tories are urging him. You know, senior as opposed to junior Tories, who are not saying much as they're munching their way through a Farley's rusk. It's understood that Bodge would be willing to meet Mr Sunak to thrash out a deal to govern together, by which Bodger probably means just me on my own. Paw! You do all the work, Fishy, and I'll take all the applause. How does that sound? One Tory source said the two greatest talents of the Conservative Party need to join forces to heal the party. Greatest talents? I mean, really. The two greatest talents. The ones that got fined by the police for partying while the rest of us were locked inside. The business meeting bros. Those talents. The two dopes who didn't get Brexit done, who crashed the economy way before Blunderbuss got her hands on it, who turned this once proud nation into a laughingstock. Those two talents.
Yes.
Apparently so. They're the best they've got. The latest figures from Conservative Home, that's this afternoon, put Fishy Sunak at 114 backers, Mr Blobby at 54 and Penny Who at 23. And the Mail has got, just underneath its headline, were you on Boris Johnson's flight? Email tips@dailymail.com. They want all the details. They want to know if he snaffed all the complimentary peanuts on board. If he needed a seatbelt extender. If he put his kids in the overhead locker so we didn't have to buy him a ticket. They want to know if he goosed the waitress. Did you barge your way onto the plane to grab the best seat, yelling, "Don't you know who I am, Bodge?"
I can't comment on that.
Take it as yes.
I-
Roger Johnson has been hitting the phones trying to win the backing of Conservative MPs, as his camp claims that he has already passed the crucial 100 threshold, and ultra-loyalist Nadine Dorris delightedly tweets, "The boss is back." She loves you, Bodger. She really loves you. Meanwhile, negotiating expert and melting candle lookalike Lord David Frost, he publicly backed rival Fishy Sunak, which means there must be something majorly wrong with Fishy too. I mean, that's like getting a thumbs up for your sailing skills from the captain of the Titanic. That boat's going down. The former Prime Minister landed back in the UK from his Caribbean holiday just after 10 o'clock this morning, leaving Gatwick Airport in a separate car to his wife, Carrie. Yeah, I bet. Only so long they can stand being in each other's company. No, he's going to work and she's going home to choose some wallpaper or cushions or some other hideous ephemera. And so Bodger rushed into an office. He said, get me an office with some Union Jacks in it, and I'll pretend to be on the phone and hard at work. And the shots are convincing, no? No. Meanwhile, Greg Hands, Chris Philp and Tom Tugendhat declared their support for Fishy Sunak. Priti Patel, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Ben Wallace declared their support for Bodger Johnson. I mean, seriously, is there any more talent available?
No.
We're doomed. We are doomed. And meanwhile, the rest of the world is just looking on thinking, God, I'm glad that's not happening to us. We're like the comedy relief. We're like the "and finally" story at the end of the news. 0345 6060 973. This one says, "Hi Nick, people keep suggesting that the UK has become a banana republic. Trouble is, it's a banana republic without the benefits of bananas." That's right. That's right. This says, "Wonderful news about Boris' potential return. Now all we need is Donald Trump to come back so normal service can be resumed. Yes, we need to be entertained again." They just want you for the chuckles, Donny.
Oh, shut up!
This says, "How much excess baggage did Bojo have to pay just for getting on the plane?" Wow, that's really offensive. The Conservative Party anthem is the Self-Preservation Society song from the Italian Job, says Paul. Yep, that sounds about right. And finally, for the moment, "Hi Nick, literally just landed back home in New Zealand after a month in the UK. What an interesting month it was. Had to get out before I was made Chancellor of the Exchequer." You made it just in time. That job's bound to come around to you soon if you haven't had it already. Do you know anything about economics?
No.
You're hired. 0345 6060 973. Let's take a suspiciously keen caller in Ealing. John.
Hello.
John.
I'll tell you what, Nick. I've just got to this point there where I'm getting so knocked off by the fact that not only we've actually had, how many different leaders have we had, chancellors?
Well, let's check with an expert.
And one.
More than that.
Yeah, two.
Two more than that.
11.
It's about 11.
It's actually ridiculous, and they actually think that like they're going to parachute Boris back in here. I mean, I didn't think I would actually, I'm not particularly a populist person, but Alistair Campbell put something on his Twitter account that just said, would they all just collectively?
Don't say it.
I won't say it. Expletive.
Yes. Expletive.
Disgusting.
Yeah. What a mouth he's got. Shocking.
I know, but he's bloody right. It's just like how what they think they've got a right to govern, even though they've screwed our country.
John, shall I sum it up for you?
Yes.
You're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
There is an element of that.
Yeah.
But it's just, who are they going to pick next?
I don't know.
I'm getting scared now because it's just like we're scraping the barrel now. I mean, honestly, if they're going to go for Boris, he's got a trial hanging over his head. So I don't know how that's going to work.
A trial? Well, that might be overstating the case just a little bit, but it's something that would perhaps make the good people of Uxbridge have to reconsider his position. And maybe they'll, if they keep trying, maybe they'll get it right eventually.
I mean, what? They're going to bring back bloody Ian Duncan Smith? I mean, honestly, they they need to just retreat from the arena and go.
Yeah,
because they're a busted flush.
John,
they don't realise it.
I do believe that they have delighted us enough. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 606. That was an hysterical laugh. As in, he's on the verge. He's a man on the edge. He's living on the edge.
Rock and roll!
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Now, wait a minute. I don't like that kind of talk. Now, just stop it. It upsets me.
This one says, I was in Russia in 1998 as the ruble was crashing, the leadership was in flux, and the oligarchs were fleecing the country. Sound familiar? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it does, yeah. This one says, imagine how intolerable he would be if he got the PM role back. He'd treat it like the second coming. Yeah, wouldn't he just? Oh, God. We'd all get covered in gloat. Chipping Camden. Tony.
Hello?
Yes, Tony. You have to turn the radio down, otherwise you will hear what happened 7 seconds ago and it will fry your brain.
Hello?
Oh, my God. I'm going to put you on hold, Tony, because
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Right, okay.
Yeah, cool. Am I live?
No, let me check on that. Let's check to see whether he's live. Hull, Derek.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, Derek.
Now then.
Oops, no, you're not supposed to do that, are you? That was an involuntary reaction. Oh, no.
And I've said this before.
Yeah.
But I'll say it again, and I've already done it. Email your local MP and call for a general election.
Yeah.
And call... and especially if the Tory MPs, and if you're in the same mind as what I am, vent your disgust to these MPs to let them know what you'll think about the fact that they're just willing to cling on to power to save their own skins and bring Boris Johnson back in.
And you think that any of that will work?
Well, I don't know, Nick, but I feel better for emailing my local MP.
Right.
And I've noticed today that he's backed Richie Sunak, and I think, and his last time he was back in, Penny
who?
Penny
who?
Penny Farthing, right? So, that's David Davis. So I've emailed him in my area, and I suggest, if people are outraged by this, then don't email them. Sit back and let these people destroy our country. But if you feel passionate about it, email your MP. There's millions of people listen to this show because it's the best show on radio. I've been told that by somebody called Nick Abbott.
Yeah, millions and millions and millions of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's worth doing. All I did was just 2 lines to him.
Well, I tell you what, Derek, it might not have any effect whatsoever. I'm almost certain that it won't. But it might make you feel better. So
exactly.
That in itself makes it worth doing.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. And the other thing, Nick, when you take all this into account, it's just gone to an extreme that is beyond any reasonable...
it's not funny anymore.
No, it isn't. It isn't, Nick. And it's not right. It's not right, is it? That clown, they put that clown there, didn't she? She destroyed the country, destroyed the economy, and then she just she hasn't, you could tell she hadn't got a brain cell, and she couldn't actually, actually do the job. She was never going to be able to, right? And there's been some terrible calls in 12BC today from people saying about Richie Sunak and the fact that he isn't British for a certain reason. And I think he was born in this country and Boris Johnson won. And they're willing to back this guy. Some people are willing to back this guy, and is an absolute disgrace to this country and to every... I mean, have you ever heard anything like it?
I know, never heard anything like it in your life. Can I put you in the I'm sick to death of being sick to death file?
Oh, the other thing, are you going to keep your soundboard for Boris Johnson, or are you having to bring out the bin again? That's the worrying thing.
I never put it away thinking that he was never going to leave. Were you, Bud?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Wait.
Never actually going to leave. Like a bad smell, you just
Nick.
Cannot get rid of him. Yeah.
One last thing, Nick.
And
one last thing. Mm-hmm. One thing though. Do you remember that when he resigned, and one of the Tory MPs stuck a finger up to all them people who was, barracking it?
Yeah.
Do you remember? She stuck it and she said, it's part of a plan or something like that, didn't she?
Yeah, classy lady, yeah.
I wonder if they'd had this in mind. Right, you take over, Liz, destroy the economy, destroy the country, and I'll come riding in on a white charger, and you'll say, here he is, King Boris,
our
and
hero.
he's going to save the world.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you're not the first person to have that thought, Derek. Thanks a lot, mate. Oh, calm down, it might never Oh, no, that's right. It already has. Matthew Paris wrote this. I'll just give you a taste of his column for the Times. A return for the king over the water, in this case the Caribbean. I say again, really? Boris, the imposter who just before his fall earned in a YouGov poll a public approval rating of minus 53%. Wow, minus 53%. Has his party already forgotten its drubbing under Boris Johnson's leadership of the local government elections in May this year, or the by-elections lost in Chesham and Amersham and Tiverton and Honiton? Johnson was never a crowd pleaser except as an entertainer. He was never a notably popular Prime Minister. All the polling says the same. He carries no conviction and isn't even widely liked. No conspiracist in normal times, I've become convinced that Johnson and his gang promoted Truss's candidacy not because they thought she was any good, but because they knew she wasn't. Her failure was to be the launch pad for his return. He says, I cannot disclose what has persuaded me Johnson thought she'd fail, but it confirmed all my suspicions. He knew that only against the backdrop of total mess could he look good. That's completely believable. And it's from an unimpeachable source. The very same fella who echoed all of our thoughts entirely when Liz Truss was given the top job. And our thoughts, to sum them up, were, you can't be serious. What an absolute shower. How can this be happening to us? Is this real life or am I hallucinating? God, wouldn't it be marvellous if I was hallucinating? Maybe I took the red pill instead of taking the blue one. Or is it the other way around? Next time I'm offered one or the other, I'm going to take them both and see what happens. Chrissy says, evening, Nick. How come it's taken 4 years and counting for Baby B to actually do any work relating to his Uxbridge MP position, yet it takes him less than 4 seconds to pack his bags and return to the UK after getting a sniff at the PM role? Can we not just hide his passport and hope he gets deported? Maybe we should send him on a fact-finding mission to Rwanda. How can I hear you in here when you're in there? My glamorous assistant seems to be coming through this desk somehow. All the things are down. What? I don't get it. But don't worry yourself, because I'll work through it. I am a trained professional. This says that Boris is under investigation. How can he be accepted? Investigation. Oh, please. I'll tell you what's going to happen with the investigation. It'll be the same as any other parliamentary investigation. It'll cost £50 million. and conclude that lessons must be learned. I betcha that is the conclusion. Lessons must be learned. That will be what they say. Absolutely nothing's going to happen whatsoever, and you know it. This one says, let me get this straight. For 6 weeks' work, you end up with a pension worth over £100,000 for life. I should have been a politician. This Conservative Party isn't a party at all. It's a horror film with too many sequels. It's like a man who suffers from vertigo willingly pays for a roller coaster ride that never ends. Or it's like watching Mamma Mia on a loop, says Paul. Wow. Well, that's a little bit offensive to Abbot. I mean, I don't mind if you're offensive to the Conservative Party, but don't you ever say anything bad about Abbot. I'm actually not that bothered about Abbot. I mean, The Visitors was a great track, was a stellarly good track. It was epic. And you can't really complain about any of their other songs. I mean, when they come on the radio, it's very, very jolly, and they're excellent pop tunes. But I wouldn't rush out and buy an album or a ticket to their show. But I wouldn't mind a freebie. Sue says, do we need any more proof that those who voted for Brexit are too stupid to govern the country? I want my country back. It was nice, says Sue. Nice. Really? Is that all we can do? Nice? Is that what we aspire to now? Getting back to nice? Is that the extent of our horizons? The hopes and dreams of the people of this country is to get back to when it was nice? God, talk about damning with faint praise. This says, public uprising in Britain, revolution. Yeah, right, Braverman, Patel and the rest of the work will set you free mob are making sure there will be no pitchforks heading towards Westminster. That's right. Don't cause a disturbance, otherwise it's the clink for you. I'm getting through the texts and tweets and emails from last night. Only 7 pages to go before I have to start getting through the ones that have already come in from tonight. This says, each time you release your little chuckle, I have thought more and more often how borderline upper middle class you sound. Upper middle class? How can you tell from a chuckle that I'm upper middle class? That's silly. He says, would you consider throwing your bowler hat in the ring as the next PM? You have my vote, says Edward. Edward, I'll do it. I have absolutely no qualifications whatsoever. I am uniquely unsuited to the task. I don't know one end of the Constitution from another, but I'm willing to give it a go. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong-er? This says, I can't get to sleep for laughing. You and Bojo are the new Ant and Dec. I'm thinking of being offended by that. He says, I hope we get all the names of the MPs who support Johnson. Yes, that's right. We want the names of the people who support Boris Johnson. This says, hey, Clive, only 3 more Prime Ministers until Christmas, says Rob in Tottenham, who appears to be confused. And that's understandable. I mean, I get that, having lived through what's gone on in the last 12 years would lead to a certain amount of confusion, as in... I know I am. I'm confused up to my eyeballs. I've got confusion pouring out of my pores.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Absolutely.
0345 6060 973. Cliff in Reading says, if Boris is found guilty of misleading Parliament, I wonder if Liz Truss would make a comeback. It'd be like tag team wrestling. Yeah, one of them has a go and then slaps the other one on the hand and says, yeah, you try it for a while, couple of weeks, see how you do. Or it's like you own 2 dogs and one of them comes in and makes a giant mess in the middle of your living room and then trots out super pleased with itself to allow the other one in to come and do the same. Over and over and over again for the rest of your life. And in that scenario, wear the carpet. Glasgow. Hello, Frankie.
How you doing, Nick?
Good, thanks.
Just before I start, as usual, guess what the weather like here?
I bet it's raining.
Oh, man. Who put you onto that?
Checking while you wait. One moment, please. The weather in Glasgow. Let's see what it's going to be like for the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
Wow.
God, Nick.
It's raining tonight and rain. This is the weather forecast for Glasgow. Raining tonight and raining tomorrow, and raining on Monday, and raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and raining on Friday, and raining on Saturday, and raining next Sunday, and raining on Monday, and raining on Tuesday, and raining on Wednesday, and raining on Thursday, and raining on Friday. Every single day raining for the next 2 weeks. Oh, well, never mind.
Thanks, Nick. I was hoping to get a wash in it as well and hang it, but since the Tories have destroyed all my wages and everything, I'll have to.
Frankie, you're going to be
hang it over the chairs and stuff.
You're going to be
what I mean?
damp for the rest of your life.
I know. See, that's the thing about Glasgow. We can't even afford to put the tumble dryer on but the whole street will just go black.
Yeah, Frankie, no one can afford to put the tumble dryer on anymore. Are you joking?
I know, pal. But it's good to talk to you as always. Just about that, right? We know we're in a colossal mess. We know the country's jumped the shark.
Mm-hmm.
And James O'Brien uses football occasions. I love James to bits. Not as much yourself, and I'm not being sycophantic, but I love James to bits. And he was saying about the football occasion. He uses football occasion as a kind of example, and he was saying that...
he uses football location, are you saying?
No, he says football occasion.
Oh.
It's like if somebody was a footballer, would you have him on your team? You know what I mean? The football of... It doesn't even make sense. It's just something that James says all the time.
Right.
But he was...
It's something that doesn't make any sense that James says all the time. Righto.
But what he said was... So picking up on the football occasion, there's a guy that I know that could run this country, and he's got a Scottish granny, and he's the only man for the job, and it has to be the Don. We have to bring him over and let him run the country. I would have Donny over, and not just for a laugh, because there's nothing funny about
you were talking about football. You were talking about football, and you said the Don, and my mind went to Don Revie, but I thought he's not available for the job, so I didn't really get that. Oh, you mean you know who?
A president.
I mean,
can you believe it?
That guy.
He's got a Scottish granny, so he's eligible to play for.
Right.
But
he's not doing anything at the moment, so maybe we could persuade him over.
But you have to ask him serious questions, because if you get one right, then...
You get extra points.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Extra points for getting it in order, yeah.
I mean, the Bodger Donny, it's talk about catch-22s. And I love that novel, but come on, where do you start?
Well, you start by putting the book down and picking up the video, because it takes less time. Takes less time to get to the end. All right, thanks a lot, Frankie. Best of luck with the weather. You're going to need it. Yeah, how about it, Donny? I mean, can you think of somebody other than yourself for a while?
The one that matters is me. I'm the only one that matters.
Yeah, the only one that matters. Maybe Melania might miss her precious Donny if he left the country to run this one.
I don't care.
She's actually not that bothered. 0345 6060 973. Maybe we could get Kanye to do it. Whoop-dee-dee scoop poop. I couldn't have said it better myself. Katie in Welshpool says, I feel sorry for all the people who will attempt to play a quiz show in the future with questions about who was the Prime Minister in whatever month in 2022. It's going to be a nightmare, says Katie. And this says, hi, Nick, the Lizbot, just like the Titanic, came off second best to an iceberg, says Mike. Oh, no, a listener with material.
Oh, no.
An iceberg. We had iceberg today and romaine yesterday. It's all about the lettuce. And the Daily Star hasn't had as much publicity in I can't remember how long. Whoever came up with the lettuce gag, excellent work. Erith, Steve.
Hello, Nick.
Steve.
Sorry, let me put it on. Sorry about that.
Where have you gone, Steve?
Right.
Oh, there you are.
I had to take the loudspeaker off, sorry.
Yeah, get us off loudspeaker.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for having me. And
no, thank you for making your call.
Thank you. I've been a bit thrown because now with the votes on Rishi, I thought it was all a plan to put the Lizbot in there to make it look like a catastrophe and think that... But two people, since I've been waiting, have already said that, so I'm on a bit of a loss there. But I still think it's scary that Bodger, like Donny, they've not gone away, have they?
No. It's like you're watching a horror film and they kill the monster, but it's 15 minutes before the end of the film. So you have to think...
Warning!
Yeah, that monster's not dead yet.
But I'm hearing people on the street, like your common people, if you like to call it that. I don't know. They're already kind of, Bodger wasn't so bad kind of thing, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, the only reason you're hearing that, Steve, is because news presenters pick those people out and discard all of the rest. The people that, he was doing his best. We need Boris back. You know, get back to...
exactly that.
What did he ever do wrong? You know, those morons.
A little part here and there. That was but he kept it together, and the country wasn't falling apart. And this is...
He got all the big calls right, they say.
And still saying that he got...
What about the vaccine rollout, they say? He got Brexit done. Oh, my God, it's painful.
I tell you, it's painful. I got a letter today. Well, I've been waiting a year for a hospital appointment, and I got a letter today. The 28th of October it was going to be. So I was thinking that's next week. Yeah, it's been cancelled.
Great.
I just thought I'd throw that in.
Right. Well, yeah, painful. I mean, probably is literally painful, but thanks for that, Steve. A year he's been waiting. You know, if we only hadn't been run for the last 12 years by the Labour Party under the disastrous premiership of Jeremy Corbyn, then this country would actually amount to something. Thanks a lot, Jeremy Corbyn. You see what you've done? 0345 6060 973. This says, I was amused watching Tory MPs on television praising Jeremy Hunt as Chancellor for providing stability to the markets with his steady hand on the finances at the Treasury. But surely all he did was to completely shred trusses and QWERTY keyboards... QWERTY keyboards mini-budget. After all, he was rated as the worst health secretary ever and has no experience at all with economic matters. What a shower this lot are, says Mike in Bolton, who is completely correct in every respect. 0345 6060 973. Are you still there, Steve?
Oh, sorry, I thought you'd gone. I am, because I turned the radio off, so I mean...
Oh, you didn't know whether you were gone or not. Yeah. OK, well, thanks a lot, Steve. Cheers, mate, and I wish you all the best. Here is Welling. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Steve. Hi.
Who?
Nick, sorry. Hello, Nick.
Welling? I think we're all welling up at the moment.
Yeah, we're all...
Yeah, we're all on the verge of tears.
I just want to, just change the conversation a little bit, Nick, if you don't mind.
Well, maybe I do mind. Depends on where you're going. Where are you going?
Well, where are we going with this? Nobody's talking about the opposition at all.
Is this hang on a minute. Whoa, hang on. Whoa, Nelly. Is this a what about call?
It's not a what about at all.
Okay, then. Carry on.
It's like a what is, what the hell kind of call.
Oh, it is a what about call.
Surely we can't all be talking about how bad and how difficult the situation is. We've got to look at what's the opposition, what are they doing?
Oh, it's a what about call.
What are they doing about it?
Yeah, like I said, it's a what about call. What are the opposition doing about running the country? They're not running the country, Gary.
Nothing, man. Look, if I was remotely intelligent, this would be my chance. This would be my chance, totally, as a non-voter, as a
non-voter?
What?
You're a non-voter. Oh, my God.
I've never voted in my life.
Why not?
It's a very complicated situation, and
no,
I'm sure...
it's not. It's not very complicated at all. You just go down to the polling booth, which will be about 400 yards from where... Yes. You just go down to the polling booth, which is about 400 yards from where you live, and you put an X in a box. Any fool can do that, Gary.
Is that right?
Yes, it is right.
So not only
can you operate a pencil?
Fool as well. I'm a fool as well. Hold on a second.
Now, wait a minute.
I've never voted in my... Look.
I know, you've never voted in your life. What's your excuse?
Well...
Without using the phrase, they're all the same, what's your excuse?
Try to articulate. I mean, there are many of us. There are many of us out here, believe it or not, who have never voted.
Yeah, I do believe it.
Never voted.
I do believe it. What's your excuse? What's your never mind about everybody else? What's your excuse?
Well, I've never been allowed the right to vote.
You've never been allowed the right to vote. Well, now we're getting into darker territory. Why is that, Gary?
Well, I lived outside the country for a long time. I never paid poll tax. I didn't conform. I never towed the line.
Oh, my God. We've got a non-conformist on the phone. What? Somebody get Suella Braverman back. She's got some work to do. I have no idea where that was going, Gary, but thanks, mate. If you can, vote. If you can't, well, there's nothing you can do about that. A non-conformist? We want to root people like that right out. You know, it's a shame that Bodger Johnson sold his Waffen Squirter 9000 because he could hose non-conformists right off the street.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
Surely the voting system needs to be changed by the next government, says Paul in Blackburn. Correct amundo, Paul. Yes, it does. Unfortunately, if a party gets in, then they assume that they will always get in future and don't want a voting system changed that has allowed them to ascend to that position, which means it will never get changed, ever, ever, ever. We're stuck with it. Jeremy says, remember when Bodger Johnson ditched his security guards and went partying with Putin's oligarchs on a Russian mountain in Italy? No, neither does he, says Jeremy. Yeah, but I bet that fortunately somebody probably got that on tape. And Paul says, I was hoping to buy a mug that said Anti-Growth Coalition, but a mug that says Tofu-Eating Wokerati sounds like a bestseller to me. Somebody make this happen, says Paul. I'd buy one. And this says 43.6% of the 67.3% of the electorate that voted Conservative in 2019 means that, therefore, 29.42% of the electorate voted for them. 13,996,545 votes nationally from 47,568,611 registered voters, which is approximately 110%. Too many numbers. A little bit too many numbers there. Brighton. Hello, Pippa.
Oh, gosh, hello. I just want to speak to somebody that's sane.
Unfortunately, Pippa, I'll put you on hold and perhaps the next host will be able to help you.
No, seriously. I can't believe the amount of people that want to get Bodger back.
Oh, God.
I mean, seriously, what world are we living in? Do people not know how we've lived the last couple of years?
These people have the memory of a small soap dish. They just don't recall anything.
It's just, how do you unbrainwash these people that are in a cult? How do we do it?
You can't. You can't do it. If they have joined a cult, you are precisely right, then there is no way back for them. They're gone. Forget them.
They are in a cult. They have no idea what's happened the last couple of years.
That's right.
What the state that this country is in at the moment. Mm-hmm. And all they do is say, oh, well, he got Brexit done. No, he didn't. Thank God.
Not yet,
so
no. They're still doing
again.
it, and they will be continuing to do it for the rest of their lives. It will never get done.
Hopefully it won't get done and we can get back out of it so we can get our freedoms back.
I think that we should build a wall, Pippa. We should build a wall, and everybody that voted and continues to think that it's a good idea to Brexit and get Bodger Johnson back, they can live on one side of the wall, and we can all live on the other.
No, it's really simple. Have a different passport. For the people that wanted Brexit, they have their passport, so they can't go anywhere in Europe. Mm-hmm. They can have their borders. Really simple. The people like us that have sense in our brains can get our normal European passport back, so we can have the travel.
And
we can have
we can
trade.
trade. Yeah, we can trade with our European friends and enjoy French cheese. And you know what that is?
That is a disgrace.
It's a disgrace, French cheese.
Yeah, but they can have what they want. They can have Brexit. They can have our borders. They can not go anywhere. Fine. But the people that got sense in our brains want to travel around Europe, want to live in Europe. My children grew up in Europe, and yet they were educated in Europe, and yet they can't work in Europe.
I'll sum it up using the phrase. I'll sum it up, Pippa, using the phrase that they have used 1,000 times to people like you and me. We want our country back.
Oh, Bing!
Bing?
Bing!
Bing? Do you mean
Bing? Seriously.
That kind of Bing?
We want our freedom back. Yeah. That's what we want. We want our freedom back.
Freedom. Yeah, they can't take freedom. Exactly right. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, keep on keeping on, Pippa. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. She's had it up to here. Just can't take it anymore. This says, hello from Cyprus. I'm on holiday. My husband's in the military and we've been trying to emigrate here since 2010 and even more fervently since 2016. Just heard our latest application has been denied. Oh, the next one is in December. The Tories, and in closing, says Leah, the Tories are currently like dogs going back to eat their own vomit. Oh, that's awful, but true. This says, I do think the cuts ahead will awaken public opinion and hopefully get this lot out. Young people will soon realise that life is about to change under this lot in power. And what's Braverman got against tofu anyway, apart from pulling your fillings out? Tofu. Yeah, what's so wrong with tofu, apart from pulling your fillings out? So yummy. 0345 6060 973. Blackpool. Hello, Barry. Oh, no, wait a minute. Hey, Barry.
Hello?
Can I come to you after the news?
Of course you can. Really.
Wow, a very cooperative caller. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Some messages just before the news, because I don't have time to actually talk to a real-life human being. This says, it's less like a comedy show and more like a horror show every day. I genuinely don't know how long we can go on like this without a general election, says Tom in Sevenoaks. Tom, we're stuck with it. These people keep coming out and saying, oh, well, that's, that's the way that the country is run. We can't have another general election because the Conservative Party has a mandate. No, they don't. And besides, this bloke...
My view is the change of leader requires a general election. My view is the change of leader requires a general election. My view is the change of leader requires a general election.
Requires my view. Of course, that's what he thought when it was the Labour Party changing leaders, and now he is in complete disagreement with himself. One disagrees with oneself. Ain't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. Not a single thing.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
I enjoy working with people.
Thanks a lot, Tim Daly. Now I don't have to watch Match of the Day. All of that time I've saved. 0345 6060 973. Blackpool. Hello, Barry. Thanks for waiting. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Hi, Nick.
Yes, Barry.
Hi, Nick. I've got a nickname for you, Nick.
Oh,
no. A new nickname.
It's not, not a listener with material, is it?
No, it's a nice one. Because you know they keep saying it's raining on Monday, it's raining on Tuesday, it's raining on Wednesday, it's raining on Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should call it the Rain Man.
Right. Well, that certainly was worth waiting for, Barry.
No, you don't like it, no.
Are you fresh out of material?
I'm watching it, actually.
You're what?
The Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman.
You're right. Okay, well, as soon as you change channel, I want you to let me know straight away. He's watching The Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman. Can you believe that? Just wanted to let us know. Thanks a lot, Barry. Excellent work. 0345 6060 973. Jerry in Leeds says, as we're probably facing an election in the coming weeks. No, we're not. He says, who will deliver the ballot papers for postal voters and all the inevitable flyers and election bump? With 17 postal strikes scheduled in the next 5 weeks, and where most Royal Mail branches are already short-staffed, I suggest the politicians hand-deliver all the election junk mail themselves to their own constituents. It could be the most honest day's work they've ever done. Wow, there's a long way around. A long way around to that. I think it's 2 in a row on the Nicky Abbott show. This says, I was listening to you discuss the Eton mess last night. Hey, are these the tweets and texts and such from tonight now? Hello? Hello? Are these the tweets and texts from tonight that I'm on now?
They are. Yes, they are.
Yes,
some of them.
they are. Wow, I am cleaning up. Way ahead of schedule. I've no idea where I'm going. But look at the time I'm making up. It says, I was listening to you discuss the Eton mess last night and his total unfitness for office. I was disturbed to hear Nadine Dorries call in. No. Hi, Nick, says Lucy. Is Bojo counting Peppa Pig among his supporters to be our next Prime Minister? I don't know. Let's ask him.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig is the right answer. Very good, Bojo. God, it's excruciating, isn't it? Eastbourne. Hello, Robert.
Good evening, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I don't know if you were aware, but Friday night, one of the credit ratings agencies that measure countries' credit ratings, this ratings agency is Moody's, downgraded the UK from stable to negative.
Yes, I know. We used to be positive, now we're...
Negative.
Yeah, made me moody just reading it.
And shortly after the markets got news that Bojo was possibly running for Prime Minister again, the bond yield started to rise.
Yeah, they said... Yeah.
And I dread to think what Liz Truss' opinion would be on Boris Johnson coming back.
Oh, my God. I bet she just doesn't care anymore. She's set for life. What does she care? I mean, apart from the embarrassment, the crushing embarrassment and the ignominy with which she had to leave, but, you know, apart from that, she'll be just fine. Don't you worry about her.
Yeah. If the Tory party had any scruples, they'd call for a general election.
Right.
But
they don't, so they won't.
Well, there should be one. And as to people not going out to vote, well, shame on them.
Exactly. Shame on them.
Shame on them. Because I always use my vote, always.
Yeah, me too. Always, always, always. Even if I don't particularly like any of the choices available, there is always a least bad option.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah, well, I agree with me.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, thanks a lot, Robert. Cheers, mate. Here's that story. The UK's economic outlook has been downgraded from stable to negative by the ratings agency Moody's due to political instability and high inflation. Political instability, Bodge.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Can you believe that, Liz?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. In a report published last night, Moody's said the change in outlook was driven by heightened unpredictability in policymaking amid weaker growth prospects and high inflation. Or in other words, the people who are running this country are out of their minds. The agency also said there are risks to the UK's debt affordability from likely higher borrowing and a risk of a sustained weakening in policy credibility, which I think means we're being run by dopes. Dopes we're being run by. Rating agencies rate a country on the strength of its economy and provide governments with a score based on the likelihood that they will be able to pay back debt. Now, the countries least likely to be able to pay back debt, it costs them more to borrow money in the first place. See, that's why these things are important. And now we've been downgraded from stable to...
Negative.
Yeah. No, we used to be stable. I mean, even that sounds like a low bar, doesn't it? Stable. I mean, you hear somebody in the hospital and they say, well, they're stable. That's not a great thing, is it? That's not them skipping out of hospital back into normal life. That's them on a machine that goes bing. They're not getting any worse. Stable. Moody's credit rating for the UK remains unchanged at AA3. That is the 4th highest level on its scale.
What?
4th. It comes as the current Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, vowed to do whatever necessary to drag government debt lower after official figures revealed that borrowing swelled to £20 billion in September. So what do you think he'll do in order to make the government debt lower? He'll make the rich shoulder more of the burden, or punish the poor, those who have the least? Yeah, I think it's probably going to be that. It's what people voted for, apparently. Here's a short list of countries who have a better credit rating than we do. The United States of America, South Korea, Singapore, Switzerland, Australia, Austria, Canada, Denmark, the European Union as a bloc, Finland, wherever that is, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, and Sweden. Oh, Swedish people, always so perfect. I mean, talk about embarrassing. We used to be a country that mattered. We used to be someone. Now we're, I don't know, we're like the comedy walk-on part, where the comedy relief in a horror show. And all it took was this bloke.
I followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
To take over. People voted for him because they knew what they were voting for. He got all the best calls, the big calls right. What about the vaccine rollout? Oh, my God. When will it ever stop? And he's come back, he's flown back early, he's taken a holiday from taking a holiday in order to come back and save us. Thank you, Bodger, you've delighted us enough. This says, do you think that if we described a trebuchet as a zip wire, we could convince Bodger to clip on? Says Johnny. What's a trebuchet? One moment, please, I'm going to look that up. I may know how to pronounce it, but I have got no idea what it means. Let's hope it's not anything rude. T-R... Trebuchet. Right, okay. Yeah, okay, good work. Yeah, I think that would be an excellent idea. Let's give him a free ticket, see if he'll climb on board. It's a catapult, everybody. You'll just climb on board and you flick a switch and we'll never see him again. The last sight of him will be flying over the horizon, getting smaller and smaller. Trebuchet. Just describe it as a comfortable seat. Here, sit here, Bodge. 0345 6060 973. Forest Hill. Sasha.
Hello, Nick. Long time since I spoke to you.
Sasha.
Hiya.
Yes,
Hello,
Sasha.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's a long time since I've spoken to you.
Yeah, you said that.
Oh, did I? Oh,
it's like,
right.
We've got an echo in here. It's like doing a show in the Alps.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I actually looked up on Airbnb. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay, and they were advertising the best shortest stay, the best place for short stays.
Right, okay. I think you screwed that up, Sasha. We all know where you're going. Okay, good work. Thanks a lot, mate. As soon as you read anything else amusing on Twitter, I want you to let me know straight away. 0345 6060 973. This says, how desperate some Tory MPs must be to hold on to their seats, mainly those on the red wall, to want Blob back. He doesn't say much about those nominating him when he had to leave number 10 in disgrace, says Hannah. Exactly. self-interest. Naked self-interest.
Disgusting.
And nobody wants to see that. Believe me. And and these are the same people who accused those who did not want Brexit, who didn't think that Brexit, which is an unmitigated disaster in every way, shape and form, that we were saying that that would be the case all along. And those that didn't want to actually think about it, they just wanted to be delivered the promised land, like as a free present. Those people called us unpatriotic. You believe that? The nerve of them. Because they have zero interest in what's best for the country. None at all. It's all self-interest. It's self-interest first, then the party, and the country is a long, long way back. In other words, the kind of person that shouldn't be put in charge of running a country. I think we've made a big mistake. I mean, when you have a change of leader, my view is that you should have a general election.
My view is the change of leader requires a general election.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
0345 6060 973. David in Inverness says, is Boris counting first names, middle names, surnames and double barrel names to get to the 100 names supposedly behind him? Yeah, I don't believe it for a second. It's one of these things where they say, oh, well, we've got an enormous number of names. Come on and join our gang. But you'd have absolutely no intention of joining their gang unless you felt that they had an enormous number of people in that gang. I mean, if they say, I've got, like, me and the dog, then you have absolutely no interest in joining that gang because it'd be a gang of losers. And so they'll inflate the size of their gang in order to get people to come on board. It's like if you were putting on a concert and you said to Neil Young, I've got a stellar lineup. Would you like to, join our show? And Neil Young says, well, who else have you got? And you just blurt out, Bruce Springsteen. And he said, yeah, OK, then I'm in. But you haven't got Bruce Springsteen. No one's called Bruce Springsteen at all. You haven't even got his number. That's the way you get people to say yes. Oh, I've got 100 names. Oh, I want the names of the people that amount to 100. Give them to me now. This says it was an omen that when the news broke that Boris Johnson had reached 100 backers, ITV2 was showing the film Despicable Me 2. Says Paul. Yeah. Bromley, hello, Luke.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah,
yes, Luke.
That was a comedy that's banned now, isn't it? Hello. Anyway, so...
Hello is banned?
Yeah, BBC stopped playing it because apparently it's not politically correct.
Hello. Which one was that?
It's French, it's the French...
yeah, right. No, I never saw that. Was it any good?
It was good. It's very popular. I mean, I was much younger at the time, but it was,
It ain't half op, Mum. They won't play that either, I don't think.
Oh, it's ridiculous. All the best comedies are in the past, weren't
well,
they?
now, let's not get carried away. I'm not sure that they would fit the category the best comedies, but they were lightly amusing.
40 Towers, Dad's Army, all that.
Well, 40 Towers is never off the television. I mean, they only made 12 of them, and it's on constant repeat.
Yeah, but again, apparently stereotypes types of people these days. Oh, well, so at one serious point, and then maybe just a little bit less serious. I think that Boris coming back, and sorry, you're not going to agree with this, but it's democracy in play because.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
it's not democracy in play. It's the opposite of that, Luke. What are you talking about?
It's his party, and he was democratically voted in, and he was perhaps taken out in a coup, and he's coming back.
It wasn't taken out in a coup. See, the people that say that it's a shame that they got rid of Boris Johnson and it's Rishi's fault and all the rest of them. It's none of their fault. It's Boris Johnson's fault that Boris Johnson got fired.
Yeah, I don't blame Richie so much for it. And to be honest, in the Husbands, I was more rooting for Richie than some of the trust somehow got in. But Lib Dems did the damage, and she's been in, she's done it, and she's gone back.
The Lib Dems. Did you say the Lib Dems did the damage?
Could have been a little ploy, yeah. Put it in.
Boris Johnson lost his position because of the Lib Dems. Is that what you're saying?
She was a former Lib Dem, and who knows? She may be the next leader of the Lib Dems. But now, imagine this: 2 years to time, we might see Boris Johnson back in and Trump. Well, how do you feel about that?
I would be conflicted because it would be excellent for material, but terrible for the world.
Was that a nervous laughter just then?
From me? No, not really. It was just contemplating the scenario that you just laid out for us.
Tell me about it. I mean,
I am telling you about it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the moment, Downing Street, I've seen better staff retention in McDonald's than Downing Street. It's just, gosh, we just despair.
Yeah, I know. But I think that's exactly my thoughts entirely. I'm despairing, Luke. But thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. This says, just be happy the Conservatives are giving you so much material. You've never had it so good.
We have never had it so good,
says Keith. That is true, Keith. Never a dull moment. Never a stable moment. I think it's a good job that we've got this strong and stable government and not a coalition of chaos. Can you imagine how bad that would be? Let's have Cornwall. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello, Nick. You all right, mate?
Yes, very good, thanks.
Nick, that was spooky about 20 minutes ago. You said they should build a wall and we'll be one side, they'll be the other.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're talking about the Tories or whether you're on about like Brexit and Leave as Remainers. But I phoned in, it was either you or Thomas Warbrick, God, must be 5-6 years ago. And I said exactly that after the Brexit vote. I said, I just wish they could build a wall, them one side, us the other, and they can fill their boots with whatever Brexit means for them.
Yeah, well, build a wall around the M25.
I'm building a wall, okay?
Building a wall, yeah. Build a wall around and re-establish Hadrian's Wall, and then everybody outside of those walls, then they can do whatever they like. They can please themselves.
Brilliant. Nick, the actual reason I'm ringing in is another sort of throwback, and it's a throwback to 2018-19-ish, and the comparison with then and last Wednesday, when the opposition brought up the whole fracking thing with the vote. And was it a three-line whip? Was it not a three-line whip? I think over the next 6 months, because of the Tories now, and this latest leadership thing is proving it. Has Boris got the 100? Hasn't he got the 100? Has Richie got the 100? Has he not? You've got three distinct factions now, it seems. The Sunak branch, the Johnson branch, and the others, I would say. And I think, think that. Do you remember the Brexit period when there were votes and the government were running around like headless chickens, and it was Wedgwood Ben, and it was what's the name? Come on, Nick, help me out, man.
Well, I've got absolutely no idea who you're talking about. Who are you talking about?
Ed Ball's wife, Yvette Cooper, Wedgwood Ben, and one or five others who they absolutely tied the Tories up in knots. And I can honestly foresee the same thing coming over the next 6 months, because they'll just throw a little thing out there and half of the Tories will want to back it and the other half won't, and there'll be three-line whips. And you watch it, they'll do another episode where they'll throw half of their own people out the party again. Trouble is coming, Nick. Big trouble is coming.
Right.
I hope it is at the bozo, because, well, he's going to get his adjusted deserts, I do suspect.
And if it is actually Wedgwood Ben that you're talking about, then I think we've dropped back like 100 years or so. So, I think it would probably be an excellent idea to drop back 100 years or so. Somewhere in the late 1800s would be a good idea, Malcolm. But good work. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. See what life's like in the 1800s. Who's with me? Couldn't be much worse if you're not keen on plumbing or central heating. This says, should His Bodginess regain power, his first move will probably be an act to extend the holiday entitlement of all prime ministers. Yes. Yeah. No doubt. Evening, Nick. What do you do? What do we do when the bottom of the barrel has been scraped? Do we scrape the bottom of the barrel? Says Rona. And P.S. I've just finished watching Top Gun Maverick. Terrific flying scenes. Terrible plot. Well, I'm not sure. I think the plot was Star Wars, kind of. It was so like it. I'm surprised that the Star Wars people didn't complain. The Top Gun Maverick, very much like Star Wars, I thought. You know, the thing that they had to do at the end there looked a bit like the thing at the beginning of the end of the Star Wars film to me. Spoiler alert.
Warning, warning.
Everybody dies. No, they don't. But it's excellent. I saw it once in the cinema and then once again at home, and I liked it better the second time. Very, very good. And it does look as though he's doing all of those things, as opposed to any other action film that you see where the star is obviously not doing it. And you can't really tell why you notice that they're not actually doing it. Because the way that they digital things in is practically seamless, except for some sort of like subconscious thing that you've got where you just know they're not doing it. You don't know why you know, but you know. But when Tom Cruise is doing it, then you know that he's actually, he's actually holding on to the outside of a plane as it takes off, for crying out loud. He seems keen to kill himself just to amuse us. You're doing excellent work there, Tom Cruise. Can't wait for the new Mission Impossible. 0345 6060 973. When's that coming out, by the way? It seems to be taking forever. Basingstoke. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Daniel.
You're not going to like me, but I say bring back Bojo.
Right. Why do you say that?
Well, quite frankly, I'm sick of hearing these MPs. I was listening to the BBC Radio 5 Live and a few shows, hearing about how the markets are dictating to us who we have as a leader. Quite frankly, having Rishi does not inspire me. I don't trust him. I don't like him. And
but you trust Boris Johnson?
I do, yeah. We voted for him. So did millions and millions of other people. Bear in mind, he delivered the Tory party.
But that's not the question. Hang on a minute. That's not the question. You trust him?
Yes.
Right. Would you trust him with your dog?
Well, I trust him more than I trust Rishi.
That's not what I'm asking. Would you trust Boris Johnson with your dog? Like, you go on holiday and you give the keys to your house to Boris Johnson. Would you trust that everything is still in its place when you get back?
He'd have had one hell of a party while
Exactly. He wouldn't be concerned in any way, shape or form for anything that you own, including your house plants and your pets. Trust him, please.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Yes, hello. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Yes, hello, Elizabeth in County Durham. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Elizabeth.
Hello. Thanks for listening for me. I have a funny for you.
Yes.
It's about Brian from Stockton.
Okay.
But now he has a compatriot, Sean from Consett. I live in the middle of both of them. Mile-wise, it's a nightmare listening to them all the time on the radio. However, my little story is this.
Put your fingers in your ears and hum loudly to yourself.
I do all of that, believe you me. I was in my dream. I was sleeping. But for some reason, in my dream, I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And there were a long row of beds. And I had just fallen asleep, I think. And all of a sudden I heard someone, my eyes were shut, and someone came along, I presume the nurse, and she said, and this is your next neighbour, Brian from Stockton. At which point I actually woke up and nearly fell out of my bed.
Yeah.
I did. Because I am so incensed with all of it for the last 5 years this has gone on. And he's moved from you, and he goes to every other show through the night now. And Sean from Consett, they're so semi-literate, it's untrue. And I just think, how many more of these people are there that really are so...
You just can't take it anymore.
No, but I have to.
You're a woman on the edge.
I am on the edge, you're right, but I could not listen because I keep thinking I will hear something that's reasonable from them, but of course I won't.
That's not what I have on my board as what you were going to talk about.
What do you have on your board?
Today there was a march in London.
Oh, yes, that too. Today there was a march in London for the Remainers called We Want Our Star Back.
Yeah, a little bit more important than everything you just said before. But
and I have searched
don't know why you kept it
through
in
the
reserve.
news all day on television
Yes.
to find some news
Some mention
channel
of
that would
it.
use them.
Yeah.
Nothing. I found something on Google.
As you were going on and on about other callers, I was just scrolling through the Mail online to see if there was a single solitary word about that massive, absolutely huge march in London today.
2,000 plus from several different Remain groups.
Are you kidding me? It was sort of like 200,000.
Did they give us?
It wasn't 2,000, it was like 200,000. It was just enormous.
It was enormous. And I saw footage of it on a photograph.
Yeah, footage on a photograph.
But there is nothing on the news at all.
Zero.
And didn't put it on.
I've been looking through the Mail online, and there is not one single word or picture about any of it. I'm really surprised.
Well, I wouldn't expect anything from the Mail.
Well, you expect nothing, and you get it in large amounts. All right, thanks a lot, Elizabeth. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, huge march. Femi Olawole, he put a video. He stuck a video up Twitter about he took a video of this march, and it just went on, and it was at 12 times normal speed, and it just went on and on and on and on. So many people, zero coverage. Well, probably because it didn't kick off. There were no arrests, I imagine. If there were, then we would have heard about it. If somebody had put a scaffolding pole through a McDonald's window, then we would have heard about that. But because it all went off peacefully, not news. Except it is news. The majority of the people in this country feel as though we have had the country taken from us by some frothing loons who keep insisting that they knew what they were voting for when they absolutely didn't. Unless they were voting for their horizons to be diminished.